The drawing you're seeing right now is related to a sketchbook challenge that my teacher Matt Bush is doing. He has his own YouTube channel that I'm linking in the description if you want to check that out, and other drawings that people have done. If you happen to be an artist yourself or appreciator, by all means share that around. And let's get on to today's video. Hello, CraftyAndy, and these are my thoughts. There are many people out there that know what it is like to be singled out by their peers early in life during grade school and sometimes college if you are unfortunate enough to join some frat house and have to continue pretending to like people you don't and do things that are degrading in order to be considered one of them.
Are you gonna make this easy or hard?
I don't know what you want me to confess to.
Okay, hard.
You'll get to experience the pain of being alone entirely. While today you can also find the worst friends you could ever make online that reinforce some bleak worldview or are some adult that tries to fuck you.
Have you had something that big already?
Do you want to play with it?
Luckily, there wasn't an internet for me, so aside from a few friends outside of my school, during the year I was completely at the mercy of my fellow classmates, enduring constant insults, beatings, the usual. All the advice we would get from TV programs and adults was either being a tattletale, or ignoring them, or walking away.
That's one way to avoid a bully, but not a very good one.
None of that really works. Now, I'm not advocating for someone to commit violence in some retaliation, or for instance, wait for an opportunity to smash a chair in the back of a bully's head when they least expect it. Because that would violate YouTube's TOS.
We want you to each make a fist, but we don't want to teach you how to punch.
I'm just saying the typical methods don't work. If you focus too much on the negative aspects of your past or present, it can lead to some severe depression. So here's the positive spin I can put on my grade school days of being singled out and treated like shit by my peers, to the point I wanted nothing to do with anyone in my community college days, so there were no connections or friends made during that time in relation to a possible career in my interest. I guess overall it did work out. But I'll go over those negative aspects and mental hurdles to overcome. First, here are the advantages of being an outcast in your early years of life. 1. You can spend time in your own little world and exercise your imagination. You can read, observe, learn how the world really works. While everyone is playing the game of how much dick and pussy they can get before 18, you can develop some skill relating to your interest or become knowledgeable of a trade and set yourself up for a higher position in life. There won't be any worry regarding what's cool or not, defending meaningless opinions on video games, movies, or sports. Nothing you do will ever be good enough. You won't figure out the code to be seen as one of them. So just dress however you want, enjoy whatever you want. Now, the mental trappings to avoid would be elitist thinking. That somehow liking obscure or widely disliked things makes you smarter, or hating things because they are considered cool. I had friends that fell into this trap themselves. They would look at a popular TV program or a video game, for instance, Halo, when that first came out, and just automatically blast it because everyone's just playing it because they're conformist. I don't fucking know. I can't even fucking explain it. They just thought they were above everyone. Now, I can tell you also, the other trap is escapism. Video games, as I mentioned, were the bane of my existence at one point. Today, I maybe get 4 to 6 hours per week gaming on twitch.tv/CraftyAndy, IGMTM. But during those times of being alienated, it was a unhealthy addiction. It's so easy to just focus on getting through the shitty day and then shutting off your brain and blocking out terrible memories while playing endless hours of video games or watching movies and TV shows and just losing yourself in your own imagination. I know it's hard and maybe would require some outside help like I received, but your social skills and worldviews can become incredibly flawed if all you ever allow yourself to know is what your parents and teachers tell you. You can lose a sense of purpose and drive in life, becoming a human being that's just going through the required motions in order to meet the bare minimum to achieve relative comfort. Not really stepping out of that comfort zone in order to pursue some viable career or a relationship. You can definitely become some adult weirdo that people often joke about being a serial killer in the background. The other benefit, though, is becoming more self-aware and forward-thinking. You will find it easier to remove a stake in the human species. You can think for yourself and develop your own personality and not feel pressure to do things in order to maintain a good standing among the collective majority. There can be an overcoming of insecurity and acceptance of oneself instead of acting out because of your insecurities. Like how the homophobe is often a gay person who hates themselves and feels the need to overcompensate for it by being extra macho in order to hide it.
You like calling people queer and fairy and such words. Look in my eyes, Harry Doolin. Tell me if you see someone all dressed up in your mother's clothes when he thinks no one is looking.
You'll quickly realize how pointless and petty a lot of people are with their pursuits and complaints. Who gives a shit about the class presidency? I didn't give a shit, my best friend didn't give a shit, and he put his name on the ballot for the junior year of high school, and he won without any effort, class president, and made me vice. Did it mean anything? No. You no longer have a stake in things. You have come to know how to not give a fuck. A great example was how little we participated during the pep rallies, for instance, during our freshman year in assemblies. We gave too much of a fuck, thinking it was some conformist bullshit, I guess, to participate. But by senior year, we were screaming our heads off during the pep rally. We were being obnoxious as we could because we just didn't give a fuck anymore. In less than a year, we'd be done with this grade school bullshit forever. Nothing matters in the grand scheme of things regarding the universe, so don't waste your energy on people you'll never have to interact with again. Outside of some brief encounters at the first job you likely have, you'll be surprised how quickly you lose touch with anyone who ever gave you grief in life. The mental trap here, though, is a superiority complex. The idea that you're better than everyone else because you are able to see through all the bullshit. You're not. Given the right circumstances, anyone else could have wound up in your exact same position. It's important to keep in mind that it's better to align this realization with improving your own skills and planning out your future, because you know who else holds superiority complexes and thoughts that the world is going to shit and there's no way to fix it and that everyone's life is meaningless and they just don't realize it except for you? Every mass spree killer from Columbine, Elliot Rogers, to the Christchurch shooting, these people all had the similar mindset, the theme of no hope or I got it all figured out. It's pathetic in every case, so avoid that mental trapping and you're golden. The other benefit, though, is empathy and understanding. You can obtain a better sense of empathy for others. It's an unfortunate method, but those who are treated like shit early on tend to be the ones that have a huge sense of empathy, sometimes to a fault.
Why would you save my life? After everything I did to you? I guess I see a lot of myself in you.
Now this can go in the opposite direction, and we'll address that in a bit. Regardless, though, of what you try to do, other people will figure out that you have been through some shit, and will be willing to share their pain with you as a way to find some relief and relatability to someone else. And likely you'll be able to do the same with them. I went through the first 9 years of grade school before I found someone like that for myself. You might be able to find it on the internet, in a chat room. Just be wary of anyone who has a hard time seeing good in anything, and don't let them reinforce some negative viewpoint on the world. It's easy to say that for me because I've lived longer, but just be on the lookout for that. I also seriously doubt I would have the awareness of social issues I have now if it wasn't for my isolation and finding another group that was similarly unattached to superficial objectivity and appearances. I wouldn't have looked at superstitious beliefs and the society we live in as critically if my sexuality was in line with straightness. Because when you are in a fortunate, privileged position, you don't have to think about such things. Why would you? Whenever mechanisms are in place worked out for you, and you wound up well-liked and respected overall, we're able to just kind of coast on through, get to that nice middle-class position, establish yourself, and now you just gotta hang on to it. It's unfortunate, but people seem to have trouble empathizing with one's negative experiences unless they witness it firsthand or experience it directly themselves. This can, however, lead to the next mental trapping, apathy.
Showing that you have feelings, that you are genuinely hurt or otherwise negatively impacted by something someone did or said to you, or letting out any kind of emotion whatsoever is almost immediately shamed. And I'm sure all of you have heard it said to you, seen it being said to someone else, or have said it to somebody yourself. Grow up. Stop being a pussy. Quit being a bitch. Grow a pair.
It seems like a 50-50 shot, that the torment you experience can make you completely apathetic and cynical regarding anyone else's suffering or hard time. There should not be a competition of scars when someone shares a story about a mild tragedy like my dad ran out on me. It shouldn't be followed up by, well, my dad ran out on me and my mom raped me, so get over it, bitch, like I did. Ugh. You also have the phenomenon of bullies that think they can't be bullies because they were bullied themselves. Think an abusive father raising a son who in turn becomes abusive. Then there is the aspect of because life worked out for you in some way, anyone else that falls short of your status just deserves it, with no thought or nuance. Now, if someone is complaining about how their daddy didn't give them a fucking video game or didn't buy the car that they were looking for, then by all means, throw out the card of what some shit you've been through, and maybe they'll shut the fuck up, or maybe gain a new perspective on life. Or they'll just cut you off and not want to deal with you because you're such a downer. And good riddance if that's the case. Now, to sum it all up, if you can avoid the trappings of a superiority complex, indulging in a overabundance of escapism, giving in to despair and self-destruction, you'll grow to be more understanding of what you are, who you are, accepting of others who are different, be more in line to learn about things most people don't bother to think about. You'll be more like a pack of wolves when it comes to your friends and loved ones than a herd of sheep that follow trends and traditions. Don't know what else I can say? These are just my thoughts. Subscribe, like, share, naturally. If you have any suggestions or topics you want to see covered or artwork to be made, comment down below or commission me through email. CraftyAndy at Patreon if you want to support the show that way for digital art prints, as well as early episodes of the Crafty Arts show when those are finished. Twitch.tv/CraftyAndy IGMTM for art streams Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m., Friday, 5 p.m. for gaming, and 8 p.m. Sunday for gaming. There's an art pal store where the prints are for sale if you want to support the show that way. If not, there's always just subscribing, liking, and sharing. Until next week, stay creative.